Hey folks, welcome to week 6. This is probably the last week with respect to content and stuff. So I hope that all of you have been able to work on the content that was shared for the previous weeks, and also now you have actually started thinking a little bit about how to build out your dApps. So I'm going to share my screen and share the content for this week. So this week is really more about exploring dApps. Don't get intimidated by the word complex. It's just really thinking about how to bring all the pieces together. So the previous week's exercise, you already have a quest on that, which is staking on Solana. I think you can use this quest and kind of go through the code, and then also add the part where you have to do the yield of X percentage. Now, some of the other apps that you are going to be building or looking into this week is this messaging app. So this is also going to be pretty simple. It's just going to be like let me share with you. So this is all about really understanding, like, again, how to set up your anchor, how to write the functions, what does it mean to think in terms of accounts, what does it mean to think in terms of connecting the accounts together, what does it mean when you say state changes on the Solana blockchain. So this is again an iteration of how you can work with accounts, what are derived accounts, and things like that. And of course, being able to write your tests in order to test the program. So this is a simple one, the messaging app. And then you have a decentralized identity verification system on Solana. This is probably slightly more complex, but I think it's a good learning when you think of the account programming model. And you have, like, again, you use Anchor here to kind of write out the program. You also have more understanding about how transactions work, what are instructions, what are program derived addresses, and things like that. And of course, then your entire kind of structure comes into picture. So here, what you are doing is you are slowly getting into the whole building process, like how do you put the dots together and how do you build stuff. So this is the, I would definitely suggest to do the mailed app on Solana, and this one, the decentralized identity verification. You can do the staking or the messaging, or if you can, of course, do both of them. But this, the full stack mail dApp, is going to be your entry point to set up both the front end and your back end for like your dApps, right? So here you also want to set up your own front end in terms of React or whatever it is that you would like to use, and then be able to connect the dots. That's what you should start doing slowly. Even you can try some quests which are end-to-end quests, like crowdfunding. There is a crowdfunding app quest on Figment itself. Let me see. I don't have the link, but yeah, I'll post that in the Discord as well. There is a crowdfunding app that you can build. There is a tutorial for that, and that will help you set up the front end. So that's the whole thing. Now you have to work on how you can bring the components together. And the exercise for this week is going to be to build a shared wallet between friends to expense from. So basically, lot of people use shared wallets, right? You are a bunch of friends, maybe you pull in some money into the wallet, and then you say that, okay, you know what, let's spend this to buy something, or let's pull this money to buy a particular currency in this wallet, and then add it to a wallet and create savings or whatever. So that's the idea, is to build a shared wallet between friends to expense from. You can use a wallet building quest as a yeah. So here you have a create your personal Solana wallet quest. This gives you an idea of what crypto wallets are, how can you create a wallet structure, and what should be an ideal, basically what this particular ideal shared wallet should contain. Some of these things you will have to create on your own, but basic things like create new wallet, import old wallet, get balance functionality, implementing the airdrop functionality. I think some of these things you can easily pick up from this particular quest, right? Also think of, when you're thinking of this particular quest and what you want to build, think of existing wallets like MetaMask or Phantom wallet and see that, do you find any gaps, and if yes, what are the gaps and how can you fulfill those gaps in this product that you create, right? Now at this point, one more thing is that I'm sure you would have already started thinking about the project that you're going to be working with. But if not, at this point, you should have already started thinking about it. You should have started creating a structure and you should have started putting the things together. There is one more resource that I want to kind of share, which is this blog on accounts model. Yeah, this is a resource that I will be sharing in the Discord group as well. But one of the things that I kind of struggled with, or I'm still working on, is trying to understand the PDA, that is the program derived addresses. And as you are moving more and more into the complexity of building things, you should first get your basics right, right? So if you're still not clear about how the accounts model works and how program derived addresses work, this is a great blog that you should kind of go through and understand the whole process of it. One more thing I would like to mention is that in this whole process of the program derived addresses, when you think of writing a contract or when you think of storage, you can think of it in the form of a UML diagram, like how we do for relational databases. So in the relational databases, we have different tables which are all connected to each other, right? Now, in the same way, in Solana's accounts model, think of your accounts as different distinct tables where different accounts could be connected to each other. So the context to this problem, or context to this, is actually a problem that we're trying to solve, which was, how do we set up mappings in Solana? Or coming from an EVM background where mapping is a fairly popular feature, how can we set up that one particular entity has a mapping with many entities? So basically relationships, right? One to one, fairly easier to do in a struct. One to many, a kind of mapping. Many to one, again a kind of mapping. And many to many. So these different kind of mappings, if you can visualize in the form of a UML diagram, and how you can create these mappings between different kind of tables, and then try to translate them in the form of accounts. So this is what I found really, really helpful as an advice. And I think I wanted to share that with you. And I think this will be quite useful when you're trying to form these mappings within your project, within your contracts, right? And one of the mappings, one of the ways of creating the relationships is the program derived accounts, right? So this is very helpful, and this whole blog itself is quite helpful in terms of understanding that. So I'll be posting this blog link as well as the Figment's crowdfunding app link. I don't know if this was already there in one of the, yeah, there is a crowdfunding platform. Okay. So I think this, yeah, this also has the front end. That's right. But I'm not sure if it is the same as that, but yeah, it's pretty much the same logic and stuff. So if you have already done this, then you probably just need to add the front end connector to that. And one of the other things to note is that a lot of the account information and everything in Solana, most of the get kind of calls happen at the front end, or at the Web3.js, Solana Web3.js, where you're able to, using the program ID, you're able to retrieve the different accounts, etc., associated with that program. So that is also something you have to keep in mind as you're building the contracts. Because one of the things, again, we kind of faced issues was how do we get the data within the contract? So it's not very straightforward to get the data within the contract. You have to get the data in your front end and then be able to pass that in the form of context to Anchor, or in the form of instructions to your main Solana program if you are if you want to use some data within your program, right? So here, these were pretty much some of the tips and tricks that I just wanted to share. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to post it on Discord. This is an exercise that was suggested by Madhavan. So I'm sure he will also be happy to answer any questions on what are the expectations on building this kind of wallet, and if he can offer any lucrative features that are kind of missing in the current ecosystem. So that's pretty much from my end. I think as we are almost coming to the close, uh, of course I don't have that many like tips and tricks. I think for basics it makes more sense. But yeah, feel free to share any questions and anything that you have on our channel, and I'm happy to help in any possible. Best of luck, everyone.